All right, guys, we're kind of getting later on in the week now. So today is Thursday, so it is test and tune night, and we got a few things kind of going on in the shop right now. So figured why don't we go ahead and hit these few items real quick. So first things first, because I want to get him back to it. But Lewis is in the middle of throwing in this two-stage lockup clutch for the Gixxer 1000 that we're almost done with here. So one of the last things we wanted to do is give him a nice, basically a sturdy clutch that's going to hold some of the extra power here. Now, I already know someone's going to say something. I know we have to hook up the vacuum line for the wastegate. But all in all, with this thing's going to be around 11 pounds of boost to start off with here, or at least that's what's on the spring pressure, the gate pressure. And so with that being said, you know, with the horsepower that he wants, realistically the clutch that was in there, I was like, hey, you're gonna have some slipping issues. You're gonna burn up this clutch here and there. So all in all, we got it all swapped out. We are running an MTC two-stage lockup. So we just wanted to show you guys kind of how it looks. And then we're gonna go ahead and install. So we have the spacer plate on now, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the clutch cover on and then run these new bolts through there and everything and get this thing moving. But we wanted to give you guys an update on that. This bike is very close to being started. Actually, we got a few wires here we got to clean up and get the final runs on it, if you will. But after that, we should be able to fire this bad boy up and actually get a little bit of testing done on it. So like I said, we do have some last little items. We do got to run the lines for the wastegate. Oh, and the last thing is the gauge. So we are waiting on a friend of mine who hopefully can get us some gauge, not cluster, but the gauge mounts. We need some mounts made. So we're gonna talk to him, see if we can get some mounts made for us and get that going, and then that should be about it. Oh no, the brake master. We're waiting on the brake master. That's right. So we had a little error with the order with the brake master cylinder. We are waiting on the new one. That should be in any day, honestly. That should be in any day now. So once that gets in, then we can dress this thing back up and again, kind of keep trucking towards the end of this project here, but we're getting very, very close with it. So the other thing that we've also been working on here is the super stock ZX10R. So tonight we are gonna go do some testing at the track, cut the forks, made them a little bit lower. I didn't go too crazy with it, because again, I wanted to make sure that we were gonna be kind of ready for if we wanted to throw this thing back on the street. But I did cut enough to where we could still get the bike lowered and get it low enough for the class spec. So right now I'm waiting on the brackets to come in so I can lower this front fender. So this lowering bracket is gonna be able to let us lower this fender down by like 3/4 of an inch, half inch or so. So that what it's gonna allow us to do is lower the front end even more so. We're gonna be able to drop this thing down another half inch to 3/4 of an inch, which is basically what I need to do to be able to get this thing to clear for super stock, all in all, to get it down to that level. So all in all, that's gonna be our goal next. And but tonight, for right now, I just said, screw it, let's go out there, let's start getting some more seat time on it. It's been about a month or so since I've been on the bike. I don't even know now. So it's been a minute since I've actually ridden the bike. So we want to take it out there and do some testing with it. So still waiting on these side panels. Hopefully they can come in soon. The bike is coming together. I'm super happy. I'm very thankful for everyone's hard work that has gone into this bike. A lot of hands have been on this bike, helping it get it where it is today. And I really appreciate all that help that I've had through the years getting this thing where it is today. So I'm not saying it's the fastest thing out there, but man, it's I'm still proud of where it's come, how far it's come, and kind of the rate that it's at right now. We got our Gen 3 busa, we got the MR12 mapping that's going on. So we have the power commander installed, the map switch is installed, everything is installed on this bike and it's ready to roll. We just have to get the tuning done on it. So I'm gonna get this bike all strapped down, get the pump gas map all kind of critiqued with the power commander, and then go through and do the full MR12 tune all through the power commander. So this thing should be ripping though once it's all said and done. So Lewis right now is actually getting the 14R, one of the builds here that was just recently done. He's getting this thing wrapped up. We got a Brembo RCS 19 clutch master for him, and he's getting everything bled. We're looking for some little clamps. Basically all the minute details is what he's working on now. Mounting location, things like that. We got the new slave cylinder in. So all in all, this clutch should be perfect. And after that, it's honestly, it's going to see the dyno after this. So we'll get it dialed in. We'll start doing some break-in procedures on the dyno, some light throttle, medium throttle, heavy throttle stuff. That's going to all happen very, very soon on this bike now. We are getting to the nitty-gritty on this bike. Another thing that he's also tweaking here is we've got the new brake master from Brembo, also the RCS 19 Brembo master for the front calipers here, because this one was shot on the Gixxer. Now, and the clutch lever's all on, and it looks pretty good. I'm really enjoying it. I love the Brembo stuff, the fit, the finish, everything is nice and clean. It's just like OEM, really. Now, on the front master, it's odd because they have it, it's almost too long, I should say, rather, because the problem that we're having is it's not sealing against, as you're tightening this up, those crush washers, the crush washers are not getting sealed up because they're not crushing, because again, this is too long. It's basically bottoming out on the master. So what we're gonna have to do, we were trying to double stack a couple of washers here at the base, and at the top here, to no luck. We just weren't having any luck with it. It wasn't sealing, it kept leaking. So what I'm gonna do now, because either way we can get a smaller banjo, what I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna attempt to salvage this. I'm gonna just try and cut off just this end here, these last two threads. I'm gonna try to shave this down so that way we can get this thing to seal. It's a little sketchy, but you know, this is why we're in this business, is to make things work when they're not, you know, they weren't really designed the right way. So Daryl over here messing with the LSR bike. We finally got an exhaust gasket for this damn bike. It's taking weeks to get an exhaust gasket. So these turbos are discontinued turbos. Turbonetics is kind of slowing down their production. If not, they've halted, I believe, their production, is what Kirk was telling us over at Boost Lab. So these are kind of starting to become, I'm not going to say a dinosaur, but they're kind of a dying breed. So we finally found the exhaust gasket for it. We got the exhaust gasket all on. Well, Daryl did. And he's getting everything tightened back up now. So when we finish with this, we're gonna take it over to Travis over at Jaeger Works, and what we're gonna have him do is we're gonna fab up a little battery box and a few little odds and ends up here. So we're gonna put this on a 24-volt system. The front battery it's gonna sit somewhere up here. We want the weight kind of in the front here. So we're gonna have a battery box that's positioned up here. And then what we're also gonna do is we are going to finish this exhaust system. So notice how this exhaust is pushing out the side. It's kind of angled sideways. It's not angled to point towards the rear of the bike. When you're running kind of high boost, that's going to start kind of messing with you. It's going to want to push the bike to the left, you know, kind of steer you a little to the left, because you got all this PSI literally going in a lateral direction. What you want it to do is kind of propel the bike. So we're going to make a little turn. We're going to change this exhaust, and then we're going to have it kind of coming out here to where it can, again, kind of go past and push past the bike here, so he can go straight. And it's gonna, again, help him go straight, not necessarily push him sideways. You know, that's kind of kill the mile an hour, I feel like, or at least lessen it. Whereas, you know, we're gonna try to pull out every little trick that we can to get this thing to mile an hour as much as possible. That is the sole goal of this bike, is to mile an hour as much as possible. He's almost done with that. Next is gonna come the radiator and the oil, or the heat exchanger. And once that's all reassembled, then this thing will be pretty much officially ready to go to Travis, and so we can make some tweaks on this bad boy. So we're kind of in this final little push to get the ZX10 all ready for super stock. Now, again, kind of going over the rules, technically this is supposed to be an OEM paint scheme, but what we're hoping for is that since it's the OEM plastic, and since this is kind of a new event for, Man Cup, we're hoping they're gonna let us slide with just a painted plastic. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I hope they don't give us too much crap, but ultimately, you know, again, it would be against the rules. But we have the OEM dash going on. So here, we're gonna replace the AIM dash. We're gonna put the OEM dash back in. We do have a vent cover here, which I gotta go back through the rules and see if we actually have to put that on or not, but might as well. We have the OEM seat here that I'm going to cut. I do not know upholstery, but I'm going to wing it and see how it comes out. We have the OEM, we got the rear brake bracket, we got the rear master cylinder, we have a line for it at least. It's not the best, but we have a line for it. What else? We do have some of the side pieces here and the front piece. This came off another ZX10. This is an OEM plastic, but again, it was a Gen 6 that was painted at one point in time. So, man, this is always getting messy. It drives me crazy. Regardless, you know, again, we're throwing this bike together. I know I'm not going to be necessarily top 5, top 10 per se. I mean, who knows? I might not even qualify. But all in all, we want to still be as within the rules as we can make this thing. So that's why we're kind of making this push to at least get everything else done. So if anything, the only thing that they're really going to ding us on is going to be the paint, you know, and that's about it. Everything else adheres to the rules. So that's what we're doing today. That's what Lewis is actually doing today. So we're going to get this thing. La, 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 la. So that's the final push on this today. I'm going to let him at that. It's quite a bit to do. So the only other thing is we are leaving on Friday. Today is Tuesday. So we do have a couple of days to kind of finalize the prep. But all in all, obviously you want to make sure that everything is done as soon as possible. So that way, when you do get there, you're at least prepared and you're not scrambling trying to throw on last minute items. That's kind of the major goal, because there's always something that you forget. There's always something that you're like, oh crap, you know, we got to do this. So there are some changes to the map I still need to make. I still need a ton of seat time on this thing. I barely have any passes, and there's a lot to figure out, especially with changing the geometry now. We've lowered the bike a little bit more. We're going to lower the rear a little bit more. That's going to change a lot. Again, there's a lot of things to kind of figure out. I don't have this bike dialed in anywhere near where it needs to be. So that's why I think, for the most part, I just want to go out there, make sure I can, you know, get into the actual super stock class. And then aside from that, you know, basically just go get seat time, have some fun, and just enjoy the racing, you know. Aside from that, that's all I'm kind of expecting out of this weekend. And a quick little update on the LSR bike. So we got the blow-off valve in. We started thinking about it, and we've looked at this 1,000 times, but it finally dawned on us that we're actually going to be running a decent amount of boost now, and we really need the blow-off valve at this point. So for those of you who don't know what the blow-off valve does, basically, when you are in boost and you go to close the throttle, you are no longer in boost. So the engine is getting cut off from the air supply. And where does the air go? The only way for it to go is back through your system, back down the charge pipe, basically back out through here, through the intercooler, down the charge pipe, and back into the turbo. You don't want that. Most of the turbos nowadays have anti-surge compressor housings, which basically means they kind of eliminate that for the most part. But again, when you start, in my opinion, when you start running 15, 20 pounds of boost, it's a little different than running, you know, 4 pounds of boost as far as how much back pressure you start to get going to the turbo. So what we opted is just to go ahead and be safe, get the blow-off valve. That way, whenever he does let off, we have no air, we have no back surging, we have nothing that's going back into the turbo. It's going to be all released to open atmosphere, ambient, basically, open atmosphere. So we're going to finish up with all of our routing, all of our vacuum lines. We've been kind of mapping it all out, trying to plan where we're going to put everything. So, but the only other update, like I was going to, aside from that, the only other update is we're opting to go with a Gen 2 clutch from MTC. So we're going to be running a Gen 2 multi-stage lockup for him. So to hold all the power that he's going to be making, we needed to upgrade the clutch as well. So we weren't really sure what clutch was in there from SRW when they originally built the motor. We don't know what kind of clutch kit they put in there, if they've even changed the clutch kit. Back when we were first originally messing with this thing only made, we got it up to like 230, 240 horsepower, something a little, honestly, on the lower side. He didn't need a Mac Daddy clutch. You know, you can get away with like a Brock's clutch mod and an OEM clutch kit, more or less. So he didn't need anything super crazy back then. But now that we're gonna be amping this thing up and making some power on it, it's a really good idea to go ahead and get ready for that and put in that heavy duty clutch. So that's what we're getting ready to do now. That's what Daryl's actually doing, is he's packaging up the outer basket. So that's our core. We got to send that off to MTC, so that way we can get the new outer basket with the new clutch kit.
What's up, guys? My name is Eric, and I am the tuner here at Proven Power Cycles, and I am officially inviting you to our first ever dyno day. The dyno day is going to take place on December 14th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a Saturday, so we're trying to make it easy for all you 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of guys. It's going to be a 3-puller basically. We're going to get horsepower. It's $40 for the pulls, and we would prefer it to be pre-registered so that way we can get everything organized so everything can move smoothly. And we're gonna be doing sport bikes, cruisers. Basically, if you can go on the dyno and it's safe, we're gonna throw it on there and run it. We're gonna give away prizes. We got raffles going on throughout the day. So we're gonna be giving out raffle tickets and free giveaways. We're gonna have music. It's gonna be very family friendly. We're gonna have food, drink, things like that, guys. We're gonna have a lot of drag bikes. We're gonna have show bikes on display. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So give us a call, 727-256-0001, or hit us up on our website on www.provenpowercycles.com and give us an inquiry so we can get you on the list. Space is running out pretty quickly here. There's only so many bikes I can do in the day, so please give us a call, get your name on that list, get pre-registered while there are still spaces available, all right? Looking forward to seeing you there.